Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Wow, they actually responded. That's pretty good.
Good start.
You know why? Because you're actually out there and there's not usually somebody here. Let's go ahead and open up the meeting, please. Turn all cell phones, electronic devices to off or vibrate at this time. And Mr. Fuentes, would you please lead us in our prayer and the pledge this evening, sir?
Lord our Father, we give you thanks for so much, for the rain that you have given us the last few days. It's been a blessing, and we thank you for it. We pray for more, and we'll take what we can get and be thankful. We ask to bless the sick and heal them. We ask to bless our city council here. They make the decisions that best suits our city of Ballinger. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Fuentes. All right, consider approval of the minutes of the April 4th, 2016 meeting. Has everybody had time to review?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the April 4, 2016 meeting with corrections as noted.
Second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, visitors who are not on the regular agenda will be given the opportunity to address the council on any subject at this time. Anybody not on the agenda want to speak? No? Mr. Moore? Yes, no? Go? As far as I know, you're on the agenda. Okay.
We got an issue with the neighbor. Well, not a neighbor, but a house in the neighborhood.
We're getting there.
Yes, we're going to get,
Okay.
okay.
All right, we're going to skip 5, please, since Mr. Bickel isn't here, and we won't remove it unless he shows up. How's that? Sounds good. All right, discuss and take action on property located at 708 North 8th Street. And I believe that we do have some residents that are here that want to voice their
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
approval. How's that?
I don't know how this works,
You're doing fine?
but
You're
I
doing
want
fine.
to stay within the realm of the rules.
Oh.
So thank you for having us. My name is Ellen Buchanan. I live at 709 North 8th Street, and I'm here with my neighbors across the street, Tamara and Toby Moore. The Buzenlunders are catty corner in the brick house at Eubank and 8th. The Proles are next door to the Buzenlunders. RJ Laird is behind the property at 707 Eubank. I believe, is his address. And hopefully in attendance would be Roxanne Bowman, who lives next door to me at 705 North 8th Street. The reason we come is to seek some help with the property at 708 North 8th Street. We think what we can do as far as speak to realtors or homeowners regarding this property, trying to put it into a safe condition, a safe situation. And we don't feel that it's in a habitable or safe situation as it is. Next slide, please. We've gone around the property and taken pictures. The last people that lived there really did a lot of damage to the house, and this is some of the leftover of what their lifestyle put on this property. There are windows without glass on several sides of the home. You can see there the one window's open, but the center window, the pane is completely missing. Next slide. There's also windows with glass that is broken. If you look closely, you'll notice the window that has a board behind it. The window's open, but there's cut glass coming across that edge right there towards the center of the window frame. And that's a particular problem because of where it's located, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Next. On the back side of the house, facing Mr. Laird's property, is a room. This back room has an issue both on the outside and on the inside. If you can look closely, you'll notice the roof is bending, it's bowing down. So it's a sagging roof, and I'm sure that there's water damage on that roof. Next slide. Because when you look inside at the ceiling underneath that roof, it's collapsing, and there's also water damage there. You can see the mold spot in the middle. So whatever between the roof and the ceiling has been damaged, has been wet, and it's all starting to implode on that particular room. You can also notice the light fixture in the center of that room. It has just the wiring exposed, the bulb is hanging down, there's nothing surrounding that light fixture to protect it from being touched. I didn't get a close look, so we haven't actually been inside the property, but that's just a tip of the iceberg of electrical issues that are going on with the home. Next. There's also a hole in the ceiling in that same roof. I'm not sure that that's illegal as far as codes go, but I know that it's dangerous, and I know from having sons that little holes are accessible to little people, and that hole could be gotten into by a small person or a person trying to hide or just get away from whatever their situation is. So that's a concern in that same room. And of course, if you went inside that attic space where the ceiling is collapsing, the roof is sagging, that's a very dangerous situation. Next. On the outside of the home are some strange electrical situations. I'm not an electrician, and I know that others in the room can address this better than I can, but I can show you that picture there because those fuse boxes are, from what I understand, rated up to 30 amps, but the wiring of the home is rated 15 to 20. But I'm aware that they've been putting 30 amp fuses inside those fuse boxes. But before I say anything that reveals my uneducation, my lack of education in the electrical field, I'd like to give Mr. Laird the opportunity to talk about this just briefly.
Well, one of the things is we're not really sure about what if there's any grandfather clauses or what the ordinances are as far as the older type boxes. These boxes are no longer used. Somebody asked you if they were illegal. We've used them in dairy barns for years, but as code wiring keeps coming up, you're not allowed to use these fuse boxes anymore because they were originally set up to contain any number of sizes of fuses. You could have a 15 amp circuit and stick a 30 amp fuse in, which would overload the circuit, and that's what they've been doing on there because they replaced those fuses several times, possibly from running electric heaters when the gas didn't work, coffee maker, microwaves, things that were plugged into the circuit. Mark, the boy who lived in the room adjacent to that right there, came over several times to get some fuses. And his remark was that he went downtown to buy the fuses and they were very expensive. And so they want to look to see what kind of fuses they were using. They were running 30s in the box. And the box is rated for 30, but the circuits that go into those are not rated for 30. And this poses an electrical problem for, in case there was an overload on the wire.
Next slide. Those are the service meters, and you can tell that the wiring coming out of those is not protected in any way, so it's exposed. And the next slide will show a junction that is just out. I mean, if you look closely, the bottom of the slide is the ground. That's the foundation, the rocks of the foundation. Then there's the siding, and that piece of wire comes directly from one of those boxes and just hangs down and drapes across and goes back up to those fuse boxes. And that particular splice is not contained in any way, and that poses a hazard for anybody that would come up and grab onto that for whatever reason. Next slide. There's also a lot of plumbing issues with the home. This is the southeast side of the house, or no, I'm sorry, there's a western side of the house, northwest face, that faces Eubank across the street from Booz Leonard's. And that drain pipe is coming out, is sheared off. It's underneath the kitchen sink, I believe, on the inside. The little dark circle above at the top of the picture is actually a hole that goes all the way through. You can look into the house through that little hole. And I'm not sure what should go there, but I know that the pipe, if you go to the next slide, the pipe is sheared off and it has material plugged in there. Not sure what that is. But I do know that things besides clear water have come out of that pipe because in being around the home, there's a grease puddle underneath that pipe. So it's a kitchen sink drain and they were just pouring grease down it and it's coming out and landing on the ground outside of the home. that's on the other side that is next door to the Moors. And that's just a piece of siding pulled out. You can see back in the next slide, you'll see the pipe, there's a drain pipe, and it's just open. And I've been across the street at night and heard water falling. I thought during our drought and rain restrictions, who is just pouring water on the ground? And actually, it was water coming out of that drain pipe and just coming out onto the side between the two homes of the Moors and that particular house. It's very strange. That's not clean water coming out of there. Surely, that's gray water at best.
No. Would you like me to interject?
So at this point, I'll let the plumber give you more specifics.
The sink water is not gray water, it's black water. It is never permitted by law to be discharged out onto a property, period. Your toilets and your sink are considered black water, and this was previously set up as a duplex. So there's two sinks, and both of them are pouring out onto the ground. Now, the actual black water line is new, relatively new. My dad and I actually installed it for the previous owner, the Haddons, and but that's it. It's just from the house to the street. That's it. And everything else is a mess, and it's just dumping everywhere, under the house and outside onto the ground, and spills over actually onto our property. But that's black water. That's not gray water. It's not a washing machine. That's not a bathtub. That's black water. That's a dirty mess.
Mr. Moore, can you explain why they had black water coming out of their sinks?
Because everything was falling apart, and they just broke it loose so that it would drain.
And they weren't using their toilets?
I don't know the answer to that. But they weren't using the toilets. Well, just based on what I was told, that they were actually defecating and using the bathroom in the kitchen sinks. That nothing was functioning. But it wasn't as a result of the outside sewer line. It's just and that's what I was told by the guy who came to do the cleanup, the initial cleanup after they were evicted. And so, take that for what it's worth. It's kind of hearsay, but at the same time, it's what I was told.
All right, so the point is not who lives in the house or did live in the house. The point is that the plumbing is in such disrepair that it wasn't serviceable for the tenants that lived there at the time. And there's no reason to believe that that problem has been corrected since then. The property was vacated last June 13th to be exact.
The 15th, June 13, 2015?
Yes, it was vacated June 13 of 2015, and no one has lived in the home since. All right, next slide. Well, we'll get to There is construction material in the front room. That's the front part of the house. It's hard to see from this perspective, but where the door jamb is between the two rooms, there's a large hole in the floor, and there's construction debris on it and around it. Next slide. This is a picture of the front of the house, looking at the roof. There's 3 layers of roofing on the house. If you're going closer, you can tell, and of course, if you were there in person, you could inspect that there are 2 layers of asphalt shingle on top of a single layer of shake shingle. So your shake is right there next, it's the lowest layer of roofing, and it was simply covered up by 2 layers of asphalt. And this just presents a fire danger, as you know, with shake shingle roofs. Instead of removing them, they were just overlaid twice with asphalt shingle.
Do some parts of the house have more than 2 layers?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, next slide. The open windows, the sewage or dirty gray or black water coming out of the house, the electrical issues are so close to the Moore's home. It's really disturbing to see or to think of any tragedy that might occur that would involve their home and the little children that live there across the little green belt. You know, that's a real close distance, and those kids are 4 now, right?
4.5.
4.5. They can fit under scuttle holes, they can crawl through windows, and children are prone to adventure, and I would hate to see anything happen to those little kids. Any person, whether it's a vagrant or a child or a teenager, could get in that house right now and cause all sorts of danger. We know that there are animals there, cats come and go, and there's definitely a stray cat problem in our neck of the woods, and this house contributes to that because there's no one there to keep them out, and there aren't windows covered up to keep them out. Snakes, I haven't really seen a snake issue except, Tamara's seen 3 snakes.
Had 3.
We've got snakes.
RJ had one the other night.
RJ had one.
Saturday night.
So, and we've had rats.
Rats, not mice, rats.
How far is the structure from your fence line? I'm assuming your fence line is the property line, right?
My fence line, actually, my property line is way closer to that house. I put my fence line where it was aesthetically pleasing. My property line is actually, if you're looking at it from this angle, well past the smaller tree on the left. It's well to the left of that smaller tree.
I mean, I can reach
Our
over.
property line is well to the left of that. So it's way closer. It really, what you're looking at right now, that smaller tree is where our fence line is, and we did that for aesthetic purposes because it actually veers, comes a little bit of a V. So our property line would be probably 6 feet to the towards their house, that house.
RJ, how big was that clothesline? How wide was that clothesline?
Well, that clothesline, they moved it.
Yes.
I actually built the clothesline for the people that were in there because they were hanging their clothes on the banister, the sheets and everything. And I don't know who came and moved it, but they came up and dug it up right after I put it in. And moved it in between there, so you can't actually get in between those two, the property line and the house. And that's probably 2.5 foot yard arms.
And I can reach over the fence and touch it.
Does anyone else have anything to add?
I will add that the property right now does have it was set up as a duplex, and they have dual gas lines, one for each side of the property, and they had a gas leak on one side of the house, so it is completely disconnected. But even worse than that is both those gas lines, the prior owner of the property owned both of the properties. And both of those gas lines are run through my backyard and under my carport that's now has concrete under it. And
And
they will not be
And
permitted.
RJ's.
They used to run under my house.
Put them back. So, I don't, yeah, so, that's a bit of an issue. So half of that house has no source of heat or heated water.
We think that's the reason they're using electric heating.
Yeah, and the electric system they have isn't gonna support an electric water. That's what it's.
City Council, we just moved in the neighborhood in September, and we're new to everybody, and we're trying to be friends with everybody, and everybody pretty much knows us. But the deal is Fallon started helping RJ deal with their yard. I mean, the yard was like this. And so Fallon's over there helping RJ, and RJ's sitting there telling us, yeah, he's been doing it for almost 4 years by himself. 3 to 4 years off and on by himself. He's taking time out of his days and mowing the grass and spraying the weeds. And how many of you want to live next to a house that has weeds and grass this tall? Honestly, you want to walk outside and look at it?
I spray the weeds too.
I mean, everybody in our neighborhood, we were actually laughing at Easter because we had Her neighbors over at Eastern, we were laughing about buying a community lawnmower, all of us going together just so we could pay to mow that thing faster. With one of those big Husqvarna riding lawnmowers. You know, all of us chip in $2,000 a piece and buy it. And then share it and then mow that yard. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they're not tending to their own
Nobody
business.
told me anybody.
Well, when you didn't show up, we invited you.
You're the one who front the money.
Conversation, I would have bought one.
Yes, ma'am.
These are our facts, and if you're, maybe you're thinking, okay, well, what do you want us to do about it? Really, we're just here to voice our concerns. We've gone through every channel that we know to go through, but you're our elected representatives for the community. We want to do things the right way. We want this house to become a vestige of what it once was. I understand it was a lovely house once upon a time, and it could be that again, but it's been severely neglected. And it really falls on the homeowner to bring it up to snuff and make it a good livable property again. It's not our desire to wish anybody harm, but we don't want to continue seeing it be neglected like this. We don't feel like that's the way we live in America. It shouldn't be that way.
I would like to add one final thought. The electrical system is so bad that every day I fear for my children because they stay upstairs in my house and it's so close in proximity. I mean, it's closer than these two walls are to my house. And if it catches on fire because of an electrical issue, then
Southwest wind.
my children, it doesn't matter what wind is, the radiant heat is just gonna get me either way. My house is gonna burn. And with my children upstairs, I'm terrified of that. That's my biggest concern. I mean, the plumbing issues are plumbing issues, but they're just, the electrical issues are just huge, and they could be devastational to my family. And that's what concerns me.
Is electricity even on right now?
Yes.
I think it is.
And they have left, with open windows, radios on, lights on,
Well, you're talking
Rain.
previous tenants and everything else.
well, no, I mean, from
Well-
November from before Thanksgiving to like January, like the second week of January, there was a radio in there that played all the time. We had wet weather and then the radio stopped playing.
I think the reason that the owner has not turned the power off is because he knows that if he does to reconnect, he will have to have main disconnects outside installed, and it's gonna cost him more to do that than just keep it on and pay the minimum.
Well, and I talked to the guys, they were over there for a week, off and on, and they were telling me they were gonna do some fixing on the house. And I said, oh yeah, what are y'all fixing? And they said, all we're gonna do is we can. Well, that's probably that radio. I mean, they'd show up for 2 hours one day and then be gone 3 days, and then show up 4 hours 4 days later, and then the next week you'd see them, and then we hadn't seen them since probably in January or February. They haven't done anything. But apparently by those pictures, they hadn't done a whole lot of work on the inside.
Do we know who their homeowners are?
Yes, Corey, can you bring up Robert Lund?
Bob and Helen
Yeah, think about, he does not Bob.
We're
Bob
gonna-
and Helen who?
Lung, Lung,
Just like
Bob and Helen?
Yeah, there we go. 2402 County Road 445, that's East Avenue, is that correct?
that's the dead end of East Avenue, or that's where they were. Let's
Is
see.
that on the other side of, Ms. Campbell's place?
Yeah,
Yes, it's at the end of that county road.
At the end of the road down there where the gate is.
right,
You can't go any better.
Used to be Woodward Pecan Land or something like that.
yeah, it's a
I know.
pond orchard.
Yes, it was.
Okay, what have y'all done, saying that you had stated that you've gone through other processes?
Well, I've been in touch with the realtors each time there's been a for sale sign.
Okay.
Specifically when there were tenants in there, there was an altercation that involved guns, and I talked to the realtor. I did call the police on that day. I also spoke with the realtor and encouraged them to do something, to encourage the homeowner to do something with the tenants. And so that had to do with the people that were living in the property. As far as beyond that, I've also talked to another realtor and asked her to encourage the homeowner to come mow the lawn. It's been listed under several different real estate agents. And I've always contacted the real estate agent to contact the owner.
Okay.
Please mow the lawn, please mow the lawn, please mow the lawn. Please cut down the dead tree, etc.
Okay.
And that's what I've done.
I have actually been in contact with the homeowner personally on several occasions trying to purchase the property.
Okay.
I offered him twice or three times what the property was worth, and he wanted more, and his answer was, well, I'm getting $350 a month for it. And I said, that's the problem. You have 12 adults living in it, and you're getting $350 a month, and there's a meth lab in there. You know, that's the problem. I said, just sell it to me and let me get them out of there. But he wanted more than I was willing to pay him. I was just like, look, I've offered you more than it's worth, and he wouldn't take it.
Okay.
Mark, have y'all had any activity over there at this address?
Lots. Drugs, assault, I think we brought CPS over there once.
That's not a reflection on the house per se, but it is a reflection of the personnel living there.
At least of the history, I mean, not now, I mean, they're gone, but at least of the history.
Yeah, the guys that were doing the remodeling told me, he said, man, that house is gonna explode. The one time I was talking to him, I said, what do you mean explode? He said there was enough meth cooking stuff in there to blow that house a mile high when he was walking out. And that's what he told me. Now, do I know what paraphernalia is in there? No, I've never been in the house, but.
I wouldn't even allow my children, now they're 4.5, and they've been gone for a year, but I wouldn't even allow my children to play in the front yard.
Right.
I mean, it was bad.
All right, I'm gonna ask each of y'all how long y'all lived at your residence, okay? That's something that I'd like to know as far as each of y'all living where you're at. I know losing is gonna be the least amount, but is that okay? Y'all okay with that?
Sure.
All right. Morris,
15 years.
Mr. Laird,
Since 1993.
losing years?
You?
8 months, 9 months.
McKenzie?
8 years.
Oh.
We're newbies.
Get the newbies? Ms. Bowman?
Oh, 93, I think,
Yep, about 92, yeah.
93.
Okay. And I don't know if I have y'all's name right.
It's Pro.
Oh, thank you.
Pro.
I had it wrong, I apologize. Sir?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years, okay. Awesome. Okay, thank you all. Thoughts?
Well, Steve, you have anything you want to add?
I would make a recommendation,
Okay.
based on the information that we've got. I think we should, take it through our normal condemnation procedure. So we can contact the owner and have him come in, talk to the council, about rehabilitating the property.
Okay. You,
And at least give him a chance. And
I would concur. We can't do anything until we notify the owner and at least have his conversation. Is there, well, there is. I mean, I think we do this all the time. We can draft a letter saying you have so many days to get the house up to code and give them an opportunity to get the house up to code. The aesthetics of the house, the chip paint, things of that nature, we can't. he could paint the house pink, and there's nothing we can really do about it.
Hey, what's wrong with me?
Wrong color.
Pick another color.
He can paint the house that god ugly burnt orange.
I would do it.
But I do think, a couple of things from the notes. Lynn Smith did reach out to me today. He has some concerns about the electrical issues. Apparently, the owner asked him to come and, give him an estimate on repair. Lynn gave me a laundry list of things that were concerning to him. The exposed wire was one of them. He said it was in considerate disrepair, electrically speaking. The plumbing and the gray water, I have some concerns about that as well.
It's not gray, it's black.
Well,
It's black water, gray water is acceptable.
the other thing, and I, drove by, got out, stood on the sidewalk, looked at it. The thing that concerns me the most from a fire standpoint is the original cedar-shaped shingles are on there. And at one point, I counted 5 layers of composite shingles on top of the cedar. I happen to know somebody who has contracted a few projects that may contribute to the sagging roof. In fact, it is contributing to the sagging roof. That's my biggest concern, is that it's about to fall down on itself. The windows are clearly a problem. That is literally a $20 fix. We can't make them replace the windows, but they can put plywood up and secure it. I think my opinion is that there's a clear lack of urgency to make the repairs. I saw some 2x hanging in there, just random pieces of improvement equipment that you would want, lumber, whatnot. Nothing to indicate that this is going to get repaired anytime soon. My advice to the council, and I think Steve and I are kind of on the same page, is that we get aggressive with code. Let him get the opportunity to make these repairs. And then if he doesn't make those repairs, that we ultimately start the condemnation process. And I'm going to advise everyone in the room, condemnation is not an overnight fix. Condemnation is going to be expensive on both sides, his and ours. But we can enforce the code. We can enforce it to come up to code. We can ensure the safety of the fire hazards. Those are things that we can enforce, and we should be enforcing those. That is my recommendation to council, is that we start this process knowing that it's not going to end in 2 weeks. It most likely will be 6 months before the next step of this journey goes on. It's been my experience, however, with these types of individuals. We either make them fish or cut bait, and 9 times out of 10 they cut bait. So.
Council have any other comments?
My only comment is that's a busy street. It's a popular street, especially for Halloween. Everybody loves to walk down that street. So it is an eyesore. I drive by. So my recommendation, I make a motion that we go ahead and start processing on condemning that property.
Yes, sir.
Second?
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
We'll start that in the morning.
Excuse me,
Yes,
typically how much time is allowed for them to remedy, whatever the shortcomings are? Or does it depend on,
It really, there is no set schedule. Typically, they have 6 months to get everything up to code. That's kind of an artificial deadline we put on certain people. For example, the lady whose house burned down over by you guys, we gave them
Right.
6 months to get some things in order. We can set that at, you need to put a plan together, you need to present us with a plan of what you're gonna do and milestones to be achieved by certain days. I am concerned with the lack of attention to the house. And as far as I am concerned, and the council, if y'all have a different opinion on this, as far as I am concerned, the owner has not worked in good faith to update and repair the property. And so as far as my opinion is that when he walks in and he says, well, I want to get this thing fixed in 6 months, I'm going to need some milestones before I take the word at it.
Okay, I have a question. Can
Do you not have a question?
can y'all make an immediate action be required to turn off the power and require a disconnect and a temporary service if he chooses to work on the home, so that there's an immediate disconnect and an immediate temporary service, so that it's not still an old ball and tube and all that exposed wiring on the exterior of the home?
Let me give you a definite, I'll get back to you. The electrical is concerning to me, especially since there is power running to it right now. I don't know, I'm not familiar with our electric code. We go back to the 2003 IBC. So I've got to research that a little bit more. Steve, you have any comment on whether or not we can require them to turn the electricity on?
I don't know, I think that'd be up to a power company.
Okay. Texas is a very, very friendly property rights state. We all enjoy that. They put a tremendous amount of restrictions on what we can do. Clearly, this house is a substandard structure. It meets every definition that's in this book. But as far as turning the electrical off, things that, do we have water onto it? Do we know? Is there any water?
I'm not sure.
Okay. We can control our utilities. I can visit with AEP and see what their procedures are. But it's short of getting a court order, I can't force them to turn the power off.
It is dual metered too.
Yeah.
2 meters.
Should you be pursuing a court order then, knowing that there are children living next door and if something happened to those kids, because
Yes, ma'am.
you understand that.
I think that's probably a lot of steps ahead of where we are right now. I want to at least have the city work in good faith with the property owner, at least give them an opportunity. But I can visit with the AEP. I can visit with our representative, with those guys, and see what their take is. The court order would force AEP to shut it down. That would probably need to generate more from them than it would be us, from AEP.
Yeah, there are some things that we can do and some things we can't. You know, and everything we do, of course, has to be documented and, in case we wind up in court.
Sure.
One more thing I want the city council to know, since we moved into that neighborhood, and our neighbors have told us what went through that house last time between the Morse kids and our kids. If there's drug deals going down in that house, the city police are gonna get tired of me calling them. And I want the city council to know that today, because they're gonna be called every hour on the hour that a car pulls up and stops at that house. So if it comes up to code, good enough for y'all to leave it, I just want you to know if somebody gets back in there, you're gonna get tired of seeing me and you're gonna get tired of hearing my phone calls. And I'm telling you that right now, because we're not gonna allow that to go on in that neighborhood, because there are a lot of kids in that neighborhood. Thank you.
All right. We already did a motion on it.
Yeah.
So if y'all through, you can go.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Everybody. We didn't.
Have a good evening.
Y'all too, thank you.
The other folks hope that was entertaining for you.
I think you did.
Let's just clear the record. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That was my job.
Okay.
All right, moving forward, discuss and take action to place a street light in the alley in the 1000 block of Hutchings Avenue between South 10th and South 11th Streets.
What's back there?
Yeah.
What's back there? Who asked?
Who has that? Who?
Executive Inn.
Oh, yeah.
This is behind
It's
the,
the alley behind,
Behind JP.
yeah, I remember, okay, I remember this now.
The Executive Inn?
Yes,
behind the,
Okay.
they had I guess a minor traffic accident behind there. And they said there wasn't enough lighting
Oh,
behind their building.
One of the poles in the parking lot's really leaning good. I noticed coming in with.
I know. I know. I know.
down there.
I did not go look at it. I apologize to you guys. I know that the owner of the Executive Inn said there was a minor traffic accident. I don't know if you guys are gonna work it or not. Yeah. And he blamed the poor lighting on the accident. And then requested a pole put in. They don't charge us to put the pole in, but it does go on our bill, and we pay it every month after that. If y'all like, if you want to defer to me, then I can go and look at it tonight and make a decision, or we can table it, and I can bring it back to you in 2 weeks. It's your call. Or if you just want to approve it, we can do that too. It's your call.
I make a motion to table action to put the street light in the alley of the 1000 block of Hutchings Avenue between South 10th and South 11th.
Second,
A second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I apologize for that.
Table. Take a vote. Take a vote. All right, consider approval of building permits. I believe we have one.
I think we had another one come in today, you didn't for?
I didn't see one.
Only got
Martin
one.
Cornelius at 504 Broadway,
You got that one?
20 by 10 by 8 foot car pour. And
Isn't that
Diane, I can't tell what who it is.
Is that Roslyn?
Yes.
Yeah. 1001 North 8th. Wants to build a 12 by 16 by 10 foot, put in a storage building. Okay. And Corey looked at all these and there shouldn't be any problems.
All
I make a motion, we approve the building permits.
Second,
I second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, here the city administrator's bi-weekly report, please.
Steve, you want to go ahead and do this?
Oh, okay.
You can.
We've been, talking about some of the mobile home trailer houses coming into town and, the age of those things. And so I went online and I pulled up, for some reason, Brontech, and they have an ordinance. And that's what this is, for y'all to just review, trying to get some ideas, so we can come up with a date or a year model, on some of those trailers, if we're interested. And, try to keep some of those older, trailers out of town. And, that's what this thing is. And just review it, look it over and see what you think, and, if you have some ideas, just let us know and we'll see what we can draft up.
Does it say anything about anything before 1978?
I think it's 76, and those are, after
Yeah,
76,
yeah.
they're considered HUD
Code, yeah.
plans.
June 15th. Yeah,
Anything before that, try.
I knew there was a line in the sand. Okay, thank you, Steve. A couple of things, as far as the schedule goes, tomorrow we're gonna be picking up the new Tahoe for the police department. Bo does not get to go on this trip. She wanted to drive it back and turn the lights on. Friday, I will be attending the Public Officials Liability Conference at TML. Thursday, I will be visiting with the Water Development Board to get clarification on our reimbursement from Lloyd Gosling on the previous, on the Brant Water Project. They withheld about $54,000 of our $100,000 outlay. They had some concerns. I think I've addressed them. Their opinion keeps changing with every phone conversation. Stop me if you've heard that one before. But I'll be visiting with those guys. I'm also going to visit with Drew Darby's office Thursday afternoon and Charles Perry's office on Thursday afternoon. We're going to discuss a number of issues up to and including TxDOT, the stoplight over there by Parsons, to see if we can get a stoplight installed over there. A couple of other issues that we've got that are non-water related. That was I think that's the only way they'll meet with me now is we don't talk about water. But those are some things that we're going to be looking at. April the 28th, we have a TMCN quarterly meeting. We also have the Lions Club Legacy Project at Lions Park with Ed. I'd appreciate, I'm going to be out of town at the TMCN meeting if Philip or Sam or Darlene could attend and represent the city. Okay, it's right down there. So if you haven't seen the park, I'm pretty sure y'all have, right?
I haven't been on town lately.
It's between Ebb's building and Main Street.
Yes, I know.
It looks very good. It looks very nice. If we can do a better job keeping the plaza clean, that whole area would be very inviting to people. And y'all did a great job with that. I want to thank you publicly for doing that. That was literally an eyesore that Ebb had turned around and made it look good. On May 19th, we have a lawmakers luncheon in Coleman. So put that on your calendars if you're interested. I'm going to get to the next council meeting in a second. Lake levels, that is the question that I've been getting asked since Sunday morning, and somebody felt the need to text me at 5:30 this morning to tell them it was raining. We're up about half a foot in the new lake, and we're up just under a foot in the old lake. Runoff is just starting to occur. I don't think this is going to fill up the reservoir. I did hear today, though, that the conservation dams that are above stream are now full, and so we will be getting some of that runoff now. But Randy did not seem to be too optimistic. The quote I gave the newspaper yesterday was, we are driving down the highway, the gas tank is empty. We stopped, we did not fill up with gas, but we put about $5 worth in, and we'll see how far we can go on that. But I will take it. I will not ever not take it. Got the mobile home ordinance. I went by the community center today. I didn't have a chance to talk to you about this afternoon. There is damage in the building where we always have our Christmas parties and whatnot. There are some tiles that were damaged. It looks like water damage. It looks like significant water damage over there. And so we need to probably take a look at that tomorrow and see if we can get somebody to fix it or whatever the case may be. But half of the tile was gone. Rotary was meeting over there. I just happened to stick my head in. Okay. Real quick. Two things. I will start with May 2nd at 5 o'clock. I had to get an ad in the paper, so I hope y'all are okay with this. We will meet at 5 PM to have a public hearing to adhere to the USDA requirements on the Phantom project.
May 2nd at 5 p.m.
Yes, ma'am, May 2nd, 5 PM. Ken Martin will be here, or one of his representatives will be here to go through some of the engineering aspects of it. Obviously, I'm going to be here to go through any other aspect of it. In anticipation of the public wanting to come, I'm going to ask that we move that council meeting to lunch to noon on the 2nd, if that's okay with you guys, if that's agreeable.
To lunch?
Yes, ma'am.
At 5 p.m.
Yes, ma'am. It'll just be a normal council meeting. Yes, yeah, we will have a
Two
council.
meetings that
Yes,
day.
ma'am.
Okay.
Council meeting at lunch, and then we will have a public hearing at 5. If that's okay with y'all.
I'm good with that.
Can you do 2 meetings? Okay. But we'll go through the entire project. We'll lay out, kind of like what Darlene and I did with the DC. We'll lay out the need. We'll lay out all the alternatives that we've went through. We will lay out what the water right is and how important that water right is. And then we will lay out the price, all those other things.
So will the 5 p.m. meeting be here too?
Yes, ma'am, it will be. Yes, ma'am, it will be. Lake levels on that note, Ivy is up to 12.5%, which is up 0.5% from last week. Lake Fort Phantom is spilling over the spillway, literally.
Y'all got pictures courtesy of my son.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I don't think we can buy that water fast enough, but it is 100%, it's 102% full, I guess you would say.
And Possum Kingdom, they've opened the gates.
Possum Kingdom has opened the gates.
All gates are open.
Yes. Brownwood there is no more sandy beach at Brownwood, it's now just water.
Ooh.
We also made a couple of purchases this week. We have purchased an asphalt distributor out of Aspermont, and then we have purchased a chip spreader to begin paving 11th Street.
They'll be taxed.
Yes. The distributor will get here is he going Thursday to pick it up?
Yes.
The chip spreader is on back order, and we probably won't get it for about 6 weeks. So the 11th Street paving project probably won't. I am hopeful it will happen by the 1st of June, but we need to get the equipment in first to get that done.
Or after this rain, it's come to wraps in it.
This is we'll blade it and pack it in before we do it. This is equipment Scott, Watkins, and Steve went to Ashmont and looked at, and then they made a recommendation on the chip spreader as well. And so we made 2 purchases to start our street paving project.
Okay.
And that is all I have. Any questions, concerns, comments, issues?
Time is the April 28th deal.
It's just a regular meeting. It's going to start about 11 o'clock.
At the Lions Club.
Oh, the Lions Club.
28th.
Oh, you're talking about the Lions Club Legacy Project?
Yes.
What time are y'all starting at?
11:45.
11:45. 11:45 a.m.
We're gonna try to time it so that it'll be over 1 o'clock. Go over there and be over by 1 o'clock the regular time.
Yes.
Where do y'all normally eat? Where are they? Acapulco.
Acapulco.
Okay.
I think it's actually gonna be down there, right?
Is there going to be a lunch provided down there at the park? Or is it just a
You
meet?
eat lunch
No, lunch at the Acapulco.
and then go to the,
So you're going to do lunch at 11:45 and then you'll adjourn and go down to the park?
Go over to the lot. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plaza, right.
Okay.
a few chairs over there.
Yes, sir.
So we're back to number 5.
We are back to number 5. I've tried to juggle enough peanuts to. You just want to keep it on the table, keep it.
Table it again, I guess. It's table
Well,
the,
we didn't even remove it, so it's what it is.
He contacted me the day after, I guess it was the day after our last meeting, and thinking we met on Tuesday. And I said, we don't meet on Tuesdays. And then, I talked to him last week, he said he'd be here. Did he talk to you today?
No, I ran into him last Friday and he told me, I'll see you Monday night. And I said, no, not Monday night. I said, it'll be Tuesday night, 5:30. He said, oh, glad you told me.
Yeah.
So,
I will say this, without knowing what his request is, if history holds up, and he requests the same thing, it's going to be problematic, because we are, it was a special event when it started. Now it's been 2 times a year that we're getting asked to provide this. We do not have a funding mechanism for that. We don't have anything in our budget for those things.
it's not that what the Chamber of Commerce is for,
Yes,
is to
but he's-
promote tourism.
he chose to not be a part of the chamber,
Again,
as far as I understand. If I'm wrong on that, then I do apologize. But, it's one of those things where if we had a 4A or a 4B, we could fund that and much, much more. But we do not have that tax currently available to us.
is there a way to change that?
Yes. It would require an election.
That costs money too.
Not as much. You're gonna have elections anyway.
Yes, in November.
I mean, county's gonna have enough elections, I'm assuming in November at some point. School's gonna have elections, so, we do share those costs with the other taxes. The hospital will definitely have an election.
any other questions? I think that is enough. All right, here request for future agenda items from city council. Is there anything else we need to get on the agenda, please?
Can we kind of start taking into some of the past condemnations that we had approved that are just kind of sitting there?
One of them is this building down here on Hutchings Avenue that the roof was
I
falling
know it
on.
was on Broadway.
Yeah. The house that burned over there by me on 14.
I don't remember what time span we gave them, but I'm kind of thinking it's been a while.
And then there was one property where they did clean it up, but now there's some sort of mobile home travel trailer sitting in it on 14.
How far back, do you wanna know when all the properties we condemned and where we are,
Yes.
and town status report?
Yes. And I do know that the lady over here at her house burnt, she has been working on it, and I'm assuming she's got it pretty well cleaned up by now.
Yeah.
Because I saw the dump truck and stuff there when I drove.
They were sorting metal the other day.
Is that the house behind, that I can't remember the name of the people?
Oh, well, it was Judy Dean.
Huh?
You talking about right on 7th Street?
Yeah,
Yeah, Judy Dean.
yeah, Judy. But it was the daughter that came in and,
Well, that was,
It was the house.
Cox, thank you.
Doug Cox, yeah.
There it is, that's it. I had the D, but that was all I had. I could not remember his name. All right, anything else? Everybody talks at once. All right, moving along. Ballinger City Council should meet in executive session as authorized by the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071. Consultation with city attorney, here update report on alternative